Hello. Um, I just want to say, first of all, thank you so much to the very kind people who've given me positive comments. I really appreciate that. And that does encourage me to keep trying with this. Um, if somebody's benefiting from it, brilliant, that's great. So, this is the second one, which is about forgiveness or unforgiveness, whichever way you want to look at it. And if we want to manifest our dreams in this world, we need to not hold any unforgiveness against anybody. So we're looking at Mark 11, the Gospel of Mark, and this is all about believing that you receive, which is something that Neville Goddard referred to. And the end of believing that you receive is this: and when you stand in prayer, forgive whatever you have against anybody, so that your Father in heaven may forgive your failings too. So forgiveness is a two-way street. What you give out is what you get back, which seems to always be the way. So we have to forgive people when they've done wrongs against us, perceived wrongs against us. And it's not just big things which are really obvious, it's really little things, it's the day-to-day things. I don't know if anybody out there has these conversations in their mind about what so-and-so said to me, and then you imagine what you say back and you sort it all out in your head and you feel really good, but you don't really feel good, because if you did, you wouldn't keep on going through the conversation over and over again, which is what I do sometimes, until I feel, yeah, that's it. That's what I should have said. And still I keep going. So I'm going to try and watch that from now on and exchange it for something positive. Just notice. And that's always the first step, awareness of what you're actually doing. So maybe nobody recognises that in themselves and it's just me. But if you do, totally understand where you're coming from. And let's try and notice when we're having negative conversations and change them for positive. So, just got some notes here. First thing is, what is unforgiveness? What is unforgiveness? Unforgiveness for me is the feeling of tension inside, first of all, like something's not quite right, ill will against another, and it's like a wall is being created, an imaginary wall between myself and the person I have the problem with. And there's this idea behind this imaginary wall that we're separate and that person is doing me some kind of wrong, which is how it looks, definitely how it looks. And then I've got my own ideas of how things should be, and I'm right. So is that the truth? It looks like it's the truth, doesn't it? And we like to talk about why that person has done us wrong. And what we're really doing is we're trying to find some peace by offloading on somebody else, and we want them to agree with us and just agree with us. We don't even want any advice most of the time. We just want someone to say, yes, you're right, and we feel justified then. But still, no peace coming our way. So we need to look at the root of what is this unforgiveness. And we've really got it's a wrong view. That's what I'm trying to say. Sorry, wrong view of what unforgiveness is and what true forgiveness is, because we think that forgiveness is really us taking the moral high ground and just overlooking what somebody's done to us. And it is something bad, but we're going to forgive them because we're good people. So is that how it really is? It's a very noble thing, and if you can do that, I applaud you. And we can some of the time, but it's even better if we can just really see what unforgiveness is and what forgiveness is. So if we want to forgive people, truly forgive them, we need to see that the truth is we are not separate from the other. We need to train ourselves to see we're actually one. We're all coming from the same source, which is God. So if we can truly see that, we will start to loosen up that negativity that comes up when we feel that we're right and the other person's wrong, because we'll see we'll see all of us, us two, as being part of the whole, not separate from each other. And if we're not forgiving the other person, then we're not forgiving ourselves, and we do actually feel that straight away. That's the lack of peace and the negativity. So if we can let that go, we will reap the benefits straight away. And I think when we do that a few times and we actually feel it, we start to believe it, and then we can build on that. So it's really building a positive habit. So, temporary antidote. This is from a really good preacher who's passed away now, but I really like him, Kenneth Hagin. And he said to say, I refuse to have ill will against anyone. I will not allow negativity to cloud the horizon of my life. And I think that's a really good thing to start off with, before you've really cemented it in your day-to-day life. And you can always say it because it's a reminder of what you want to achieve. So write that down, stick it up somewhere, and you'll stop noticing it after a while, but it will work in the beginning, I think. So again, I refuse to have ill will against anyone. I will not allow negativity to cloud the horizon of my life. So say that a few hundred times a day and you'll be great. So that's the reminder. That really helps. And then getting back to Neville Goddard, he said to enlarge our conception of causality. Enlarge your conception of causality. So what does that mean? Enlarge your view of how things are caused in the world. So what's the origin of things? Where does everything come from? If you broaden that, you see that everything is coming from one source, so which is God. And you can think the universal mind, you can think consciousness, whatever. It's all the same thing. So everything is arising from the same source. So we can have an effect on that source. So we've got to just, the underlying truth is we've got to see that we are not separate, we're one. Even though it looks like we're separate, we're actually one. And that's going to bring us a lot more peace. Okay, so how can we change our way of thinking? Another thing that Neville Goddard said, is revise the day. So Neville Goddard fans will be very familiar with that, which means that at the end of each day, maybe you had some negative things happen and you don't feel good about them. So you go through the day from the beginning to the end, and anything that you don't like that happened, you change it. So maybe you had an argument with somebody, and things didn't really go very well, big bust up. So you go back to the beginning and you imagine like how it should have been, and you see yourselves getting on really well with that person. Maybe they're really agreeing with what you say, your ideal scenario, and then you keep going until the end of the day. Now, my big mistake with this is I try and imagine the day when I'm lying in bed. So the obvious thing that happens is I fall asleep before I've even got to lunchtime. So what I would recommend is like me on the sofa, if you can be bothered, and it's well worth it, just imagine your day while you're still sitting upright before you actually hit the sack, and then just feel really good. And then when you go to bed, you're going to go to bed with a nice feeling, and that's going to have an effect on the following day as well. And what I like to do too is when things happen that I don't really like, I like to revise it there and then, because I know what I'm like. Ideally, I'd like to go through the whole day, but sometimes I'm really tired and I don't give it the time that I should. I'm going to try and change that. But when things happen, like maybe I just it's me really letting out something negative. Maybe I'm just swearing about something to myself. So I'm giving myself all that negativity. Just like, I will stop myself and just change it there and then, like rubbing it out. So at least I'm just correcting it in the moment, because there's so many things really. So I go through that, and then ideally I'd go through the day and do it again. But that's enough if you can do that. So what else have I got in my book here? Going back to enlarging your conception of causality, Neville Goddard said that God is playing all the parts in your life story. So everything that appears in your world, like I said, it's all one, because it's all coming from the source, God. So if it's all coming from the same source, and that source lives in you, don't hate it, because that means you're hating yourself. So try and remember that. Listen to his teachings, and just basically brainwash yourself with his teachings until you get that peace of mind that comes from understanding how the nature of reality truly is. There is no separation. And there's so many faiths and ways of thinkings, belief systems that understand that. And, you've got to really feel it from within. You've got to have the inner experience to truly believe it. But I think it's really at the core of many religions and belief systems, because it's true. But only you can find out. So really hope you do. What else do I have here? Oh, this is really good too. See all events as leading to your dream. Now, that is true if you're actively imagining that your dream has come to pass in the world. So you're living in the feeling that you've achieved your dream. You're feeling really good, and you've been doing all the right things, everything that Neville Goddard said. Just believing that you receive really everything that's in the Bible. And so you've done it all right, and then these awful things are happening, or there's just negativity, like maybe you've been fired from your job. That's not really good, is it? Or like your friends fallen out with you, or relationships ended, and you think, well, I was imagining all these positive things and just negative things are happening to me. Why is that? So don't give up, because the thing is, I'm trying to think now what the thing is. You don't know the how. That's what the thing is. You don't know the how. The how your dream is going to manifest. So if you have been living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and then these things happen and you think, oh, it's not working, it doesn't mean it's not working because you haven't got to the end yet. So don't give up. Just trust that whatever's happening will eventually lead you to a dream, if you're imagining, of course. So don't worry about that. Just hold on there. So I'm skipping through a load of stuff now, and there's lots of good things about forgiveness here. What else? Turn your enemy into a friend in your imagination, and this will manifest in your world. So that's good. Instead of spending lots of time thinking bad things about people, and maybe they've made us feel really bad, you could be thinking, yes, but you don't know what they've done to me. I do understand, because I've been through things before, and I found it really hard to forgive people. We do need reminders. I think we do need to read about forgiveness, and we've got to practice it every day. But you can do it. And remember that the main person that's going to benefit from forgiveness is yourself. So don't think, oh, that person doesn't deserve my forgiveness. Well, it's you that's going to benefit from it. You're going to feel the peace. So who cares about the other person? Who cares? You've got to just forget about them and just think about how you're feeling, and you're going to feel much better, and you're going to reap the benefit from it. So I'm going to wrap up there, because that's enough, I think. The summary that I've written in my book is: forgive others and you forgive yourself, releasing yourself from any blockages within. Very true. The training of the mind. Number 1, see yourself as the other pushed out. So see yourself as the other, because basically you are. So treat yourself as you'd like to be treated. That's the golden rule, isn't it, in the Bible? So treat yourself as you'd like to be treated. Yeah, that's great. That's the ego rule. Treat the other person as you'd like to be treated. Okay. Number 2, I'm still not sure I got that right. See all events as somehow leading to your dream. So even when life's really hit you with some hardcore things, just think, this too shall pass, and I don't know if this is going to somehow lead to my dream. So just try and keep an open mind, even though it's really hard. I totally know how hard things can be. And number 3, revise the day. So whatever happens, go through it, change the things you didn't like into positive things, and go to bed feeling like really good, positive feeling that you take into your subconscious, and that will manifest into more positive events, so you can't lose. Okay, so I hope that was of benefit. I've gone past 18 minutes, so well done if you've been listening so far. I hope some of it was useful, and did that quite quickly, so there you go. The next one, number 3, is going to be the main one, which is using your imagination to achieve a dream. So thanks very much for listening, and please let me know if you have any success, and good luck. Okay, bye.